Welcome back to Scatteryan Podcast, where we break down how society shaped the way we think, the way we love, and the way we behave. I'm your host. We know like to the toast, Toves. And today, we have a story that will make you pause, scratch your head, and maybe even rethink a few things. Maybe. But before we get into that, I've got my guys with us. We've got the man that likes to live his life with no worries, Dr. Morris. How are you doing today, boss?
Very good. Doing very well. Thank you. Thanks for having me again.
It's all good. It's all good. Thank you for joining us. And we also have the man, Mr. Nelson, looking very, very dapper. AKA the Pizzo, that lights fire quicker than a diesel. How are you feeling today, Pizzo?
I like it when you remember that again. It's your boy Pizzo catch fire faster than a diesel.
Of course, now it's very, very catchy. It's very, very catchy. So, let's just go straight into it. I'm going to ask you one question, right? What will be your red flag? If, let's say you guys, I'm married, I can say that. I don't know if you guys want to say your relationship status on the podcast, but let's assume that you're dating someone, right? For a long period of time. What would be a red flag that will stop you from marrying that person? Let's go with you, Nelson, first.
Personally, yeah, I like it, and I don't know how to make it. And I would love to be with somebody that enjoys cooking. So, honestly, right now that I'm not married, kind of as the thin line, it's not red, it's like orange flag. It's not red flag. But because I thought about it, if I meet somebody I love, I am willing to get a cook to assist if that's aspect, depending on the part of the world where I'm at.
Bowling.
But even in the UK, in the US, where both parties are working, all we have is the nanny, we don't have a living nanny, and it's going to be, that is when it's going to be a red flag, because this is something that if you don't have passion for it, if you don't like to do it, you never find yourself doing it. Yes, as I am now, a stinking bachelor. Sometimes I find myself drinking Gary when I could just go inside the kitchen and there's raw food in my freezer. But I'm talking too much. So it's like if I'm not in Nigeria, the red flag would be if she can't cook, because in that situation, I don't want to be forcing anybody's child to do stuff for me. Then she starts thinking I'm slaving her. So I would prefer to be with somebody that enjoys to do these things. So it is not slavery. You like to do it. I like to eat it. Like, when somebody cooks and she wants somebody, as we are eating, she's asking questions. Do you enjoy it? What should I do? That type of, waiting I like. Thank you.
Okay, fair enough. And Maurice, which one will be your own?
Luckily enough for me, I can cook very well, so I don't have any issues with that one. But yeah, for me, my red flag would be somebody that is very inconsiderate, right? Like, you don't give things a deeper thought. I like people that think deep, that think about others as well, and people that are generally kind. So if you don't exhibit those characters, for me, it's a big red flag. And obviously, it's some of those things is easy to tell. Within a couple of dates, you would know, just from the interaction with people, and yeah, I can tell. So if I don't see those traits, for me, it would not go anywhere.
One more thing.
Fair enough. For me,
let me add. Sorry. So I'm just saying, in a situation where you have a cook and that aspect is sorted, another red flag is teachability. If the person is not teachable, I can't be with somebody that is not teachable, because submission is very tricky. You understand? I'm an alpha male and I want to be with a woman that submits, but I do not want to suppress. Do you understand? So I want to be
an alpha male. Nothing.
So I want to be with somebody that is teachable. Like, I'm also a teachable person, so you need to be both.
Someone that you're going to subdue.
No, I don't want to subdue people. I want you to be willing to learn. Like, okay, this is like be open to ideas. It's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Are you open to ideas from her, or is just one-way traffic?
No, he said he's teachable too.
I'm open. I will listen
Okay.
because nobody's an island. I married you because I need you. I didn't marry you to put you under. You understand? But I also need that sense because I'm an alpha male. So I also need that sense of teachability. I need somebody that is teaching me.
Alpha, calling Bravo area C.
Over.
For me, I would say my red flag, one of my red flags, I'm sure I have many. I'm married now, so it's fine. If I was not, one of my red flags would be if they didn't want children. No, they can't have. Can't. I think I can tolerate can't, but won't. I don't think I can tolerate won't. I know the end goal is still the same thing, but one is biological reasons, another one is personal choice. So that one, I think that would be a red flag for me. But imagine this, it's not about me, it's not about you guys, it's about this story we're going to delve into today, right? Imagine that you're engaged, right? Deeply in love and excited about your future together. Then out of nowhere, you guys decided to do a DNA test, and the DNA test reveals that you are related. Not just closely related, but from a distant ancestor from centuries ago. Basically, you are third cousins. Is that a deal breaker for you, Maurice? Or would that be?
I don't think it would be a deal breaker for me. Simply because I know that if the situation were reversed and I was born in another country, that would not be an issue. The only reason I see it as an issue is because of the part of the country where we grew up in.
Fair
in
enough.
Other parts of the world, it's normalized. So I think I'll use that logic and be like, okay, if they are doing it in India and, some
or the Fulanis.
Exactly. I might as well claim to be one of them. So I think that would not be a deal breaker for me.
Fair enough. I think also, again, because of the part I'm from as well, I think it will be a deal breaker for me. As you rightly put it, it's all about your culture. And again, Katayan, we discuss how society affects how we think. Anyways, for most people, this will be an instant game over, right? But for this couple, plot twist, they're a gay couple, so they're saying they're gay. They're never going to have children, so it shouldn't matter. Because one of the reasons why people don't marry their cousins is because of, genetic, I don't know the word to say, genetically, genealogically. They are too similar genetically, so they don't want that. But they're saying they're not going to have children, so it's fine for them, right? And the internet has gone into flames on this story. So let's dive in a little bit, right? Is it just an awkward coincidence, or does it cross a line? Now, if there was no biological risk, is it a problem? For us, me and Maurice are like in a culture, and as well you, Nelson, we're talking about the gay couple, right? But let's talk about heterosexual, because we are heterosexual, right? If this was a situation for us in our own culture, is it really a problem if they are choosing not to have children?
For me, I think it should not matter. I'm not the one getting married. Mm-hmm. So let everybody just mind their business. Mm-hmm. I don't know how unless you can show me how it's affecting you, mm-hmm. then just, I don't know.
But if it was you, that's why I asked if it was you in your own culture, your entire family is coming for the marriage.
I couldn't care less.
All right, fair enough.
If it was me. Because chances are you're still going to get people that would be against your relationship, even from your own family, whether or not it's heterosexual, homosexual, whatsoever, mm-hmm. right? So there will still be somebody that is against it. And at the end of the day, you want to be with that person, not that other person that is against you. So I will go ahead and I can't even be bothered.
All right. Fair enough. You're right, because in different parts of the world, even in America, so United States, there are about 20 states where you can legally marry your cousins, right? And also other parts of like Middle East and South Asia, and even some royal families, they always want to keep their the bloodline the same. So they married their cousins. So it's not new, but again, if you're from a society where it's frowned upon, then that's going to be an issue. I don't know if it's still understandable, but I think it's more tolerable as well. I don't know if you share that sentiment.
Yeah, it is. I think it's a big deal because they are getting married, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, let me not say this, but I know for a fact that direct cousins, these are like first cousins, mm-hmm. have some form of relations with each other in not just in parts where it's a taboo, right?
Mhm.
All over the world. And yeah, the reason why it's not that big a deal, or nobody's shouting about it, is because they are not, trying to get married or anything. Maybe it just ends that way. So that a lot of people can tolerate. But I think the problem comes when you then bring it into like a wider frame, and of course there will be a lot of people that will be obviously against it for many reasons. But I think as long as you're not first cousins, I don't know. But even some part of the world, I think if you're like from your mother's side cousin, then it's fine. From your father's side, it's not so. It's frowned upon. I don't know the reasons why or the logic behind that.
Okay.
But yeah, I would say every malam to his own kettle. So everybody just
Right. So should people be doing something because of what people will say? Because that is how a lot of people live their lives, like thinking about what people will say, the repercussion in society, whether they're going to be frowned upon, whether they're going to be accepted, and things like that. So should that be a determinant of what you choose to do in terms of who you love and like the kind of jobs you do, the kind of cars you drive, etc., etc.?
Yes and no. The reason why I would say that is because sometimes people would speak up for things they feel is not right. And the more people that gets to talk about it, the more it raises awareness to that issue, and the more that whatever the issue is can be addressed. So in that aspect, if it's ethically, morally wrong, I understand. But people would also talk even when you're doing something that is right in your own ways, but wrong in their own ways. So that is where it becomes a problem, because, again, just because something is illegal doesn't mean it is wrong. And just because something is wrong doesn't make it legal.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, I was wondering where you're going with that. Yeah.
Or just because something is right, rather, doesn't make it legal. Okay? That is where the dilemma comes in, because where do we then draw the line? Because so the person perpetrating that act, as far as they're concerned, they're right? But in someone else's eyes, it's wrong. So this is where I then bring in my own idea of, does it hurt you? Does it disturb you that much to the extent that you want to intervene? How does it affect you? How does it affect the wider society? So that's when we can start to get involved. But for me, if it doesn't affect you, it doesn't affect the society at large, then just, I don't know.
Fair.
Obviously, it depends. But in this case, unless someone can tell me how it affects the society at large, I'm not seeing it. But if you can't tell me, then we can have a conversation about it. Otherwise, I'll just say, come on, just let it go.
Fair enough. So let me link that into some of the would you rather questions I have today then. So would you rather be in a relationship that makes you happy but is frowned upon by society, or in a relationship that society approves but you're unhappy?
Oh, my happiness comes first. The society might approve what I personally don't condone. So that doesn't mean I should just concur. It's the same reason why, if we look at the topic of homosexuality, the society, African society, as at now, strongly disapprove. If you survey a population of people, many people are against it, right?
Yeah.
So society disapproves of that. But so the person in that relationship, would they compromise their happiness just because they want to please society? They would argue not. So for that reason, I would say I would choose my own happiness. Just because society doesn't approve of it doesn't mean I should then sacrifice my mental sanity just because I want to please people and then displease myself. I wouldn't do that.
Fair enough. I think, you summed this up perfectly. I agree with that as well. You can't just say because society disapproves, it means it should determine your happiness, because there are a lot of things that were disapproved once upon a time, in Europe and other parts of the world where Africans and people that of black race could not like rent houses, cannot eat in restaurants and things like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but it doesn't mean it's right because they disapprove. So yeah, definitely, I'll rather choose happiness and disregard society than try to appease society and be unhappy. But then let's flip it again. Would you rather date someone, this one dating, now not married, would you rather date someone you love but your family does not approve of, or someone your family loves but you're not really into?
Someone my family loves. Who would be? Is it my family that will be staying with them, or be? No. See, my family should be responsible for their own happiness. There's a friend of mine, we were having a conversation, and I told them, you are responsible for your own happiness and your own peace of mind and your own contentment, not somebody else. So, so my family can be happy with the person for all I care, but for me, if I'm not happy with the person, then why should I be with the person? Or if I'm not contented with the person, I would not. So I would, again, definitely. It's selfish, but I'll always pick me.
Yeah. I don't have a problem with being selfish. So before I go, let me leave you with this thought. Love is complicated. Relationships are full of challenges. But when your biggest problem is a shared great-great-grandparent, maybe, just maybe, there are bigger things to worry about. So I'm going to say thank you to Dr. Morris for joining me today. Thank you to Pizzo for joining, even though it was short-lived. Would have loved to hear more from him, hopefully, in the next episode. But anyways, if you're streaming on YouTube, please press the like button, subscribe, or if you're new, you're here to do so. And if you're listening on audio platforms, really appreciate you. Please follow the podcast as well. All right. Thank you for tuning into Scatteryan Podcast. Until next time, stay safe, keep questioning everything, keep thinking, and most importantly, check your family tree before you propose. Okay. Use your brain, people. See you far. Peace.